ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here we go, career start zone to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. Spectacular fashion.
Good evening, race fans, and welcome back to the SAVE22.vet Truck Series with Goat Locker Racing. It's the penultimate race until the playoffs begin, and we have some flat track action on the board. New Hampshire Motor Speedway will prove to be a difficult race from start to finish, but could it be the key for one of our drivers to make an entry into the playoffs with a late season win? We'll find out after the checkered flag waves, and you'll be catching all the action right here, live on V-Speed. I'm your host, Logan Threlkeld, and running the production truck, and as our co-host today, Bradley Cooper, with cameras provided by Dougie Beard. Bradley, glad to have you up here. You're hearing the voice for once, finally. Tell us a little bit about where we're at today.
New Hampshire Motor Speedway, very flat, very fast. It's a bigger Martinsville. 7 degrees of banking in the corners. This 1 mile oval is notorious for scrubbing the speed off in the exits, and it's very easy to turn this car sideways as they exit. So you're going to see a lot of drivers struggle to pass. It's going to take maybe moving somebody out of the way in the entry of the corner to actually get a spot gained.
And since we're so close to the playoffs, expect to see some of that extra roughhousing out here on the track to make those passes that are going to be so crucial here in just 2 weeks' time once we start to take it into the playoffs. We have drivers ready to get through the grid. Let's see who took our Jam Printing and Promotions Poll Award this week. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with the primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They've been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning, local and veteran certified. When they do well, they do good in the community. And it's none other than the 77 of Mark Whitley taking the pole for today's event. I know he'll be happy about that. This track being up at the front will be crucial for a race win here. Starting to his outside, the 51 of Levi McCarty takes up P2. In row number 2, it's the 14 of Chance Taylor rolling off next to the 15 of Jamie Barkus. In the third row, P5, the 87 of Eddie Smith next to the 4 of Mike Browning. That's the man, the myth, the legend. In P7, it's the 27 of Jacob Ellingston next to the 04 of Leslie Burke. And in the top 10, it's the 58 of Jonathan Cofield next to the 65 of Samuel Joseph.
Brandon Wallace and Tyler Justice will start in row number 6. Then you have James Goshen, Ken Huber starting at 14th, James Kaufman, Michael Kostek, Lucas Lyons back out on the racetrack with Jason Kristen in 18th. In your top 20 with Thaddeus Friel Jr., Michael Jones. 3 more cars to talk about with Chase Albert, Michael Seymour, and Chuck Phelps selecting not to take a time. Jason Barrow, early exit. As we hit that restart zone, green flag is out. We're underway at New Hampshire.
The Lobster Mile action will be throughout the entire race. 100 laps on the board for us here today, side by side as we make it through turn 1 on lap 1. 25-mile-an-hour pit speed. Of course, 4 tire sets available for today's event. That'll be 3 over the wall, 2 green-white checkered attempts if we need them. That iRacing fixed setup with 100% fuel should get us about 75 laps, somewhere in the range of 73 to 77. As Levi McCarty comes around to lead lap number 1 from the outside row on the initial start. But it's not been easy. You saw Whitley nearly dive it down in there, almost made contact with the back of the 51 entering turn 1 again.
Now looking off the back end, this is what I was talking about. You have to kind of approach the entry of the corner later than the guy in front of you if you want to have a chance of getting the nose in there. Whitley's going to look to the inside. 77 has been dominant across all the series he races in, but way up the racetrack, he uses all of that entry. 51 had a heads-up move. I think Whitley might have overshot the corner, and he got a touch from Jamie Barkas on the back end.
Whitley got a little loose there from that touch from the 15. That slowed Barkas down just enough to allow Chance Taylor to attack around the outside. Couldn't do much with it, but it's keeping this top 5 very close. Eddie Smith right there in the tide machine as we hop on board with him. He's going to get by Barkas. Barkas stuck down on the bottom lane, but it's not going to be clear before turn 1 as the 15 challenging the inside of both Chance Taylor and Eddie Smith coming out of turn 2. Finally, it appears that Smith gets around the 15, so our running order, Chance Taylor has made his way up to P3 after a hard charge from Barkas to keep it up there. Just couldn't keep it up there long enough. Meanwhile, it's a hair scramble back behind him. Wesley Burke, Mike Browning battling it out side by side for the 6th position.
Eddie Smith still working on that 3rd spot, has Chance Taylor to the outside. Smith is on the move. Actually lost a spot there, had to get around the 15. I think right now you're just kind of biding your time here, Logan. You probably don't want to push the truck too early.
That's what this race is going to be a lot about here. In the triple digits, nearly 120 degrees on the track surface, 76 degrees ambient air temperature. So it's a pretty cool day. Be a lot of power from these trucks to put down to the racetrack, but will the track hold with these tires? We got a lot of action to get through before we find out, you know, who's going to manage it the best, really. Taking a look a little bit further back, Jacob Ellingson in the 27, trying to work to the inside of Mike Browning here. Wesley Burke has since gotten clear of that battle for P6. Browning falling back just a touch. Back up ahead of them, though, is Chance Taylor and Eddie Smith side by side again on the entry of turn 1. Nearly contact between the two. And here goes Ellingson down through the bottom lane, trying to get around Browning. Taking a look at the battle for the lead. Whitley not letting go at all, trying to pack some dirty air there on the left rear of Levi McCarty. McCarty doing a great job of keeping clean air off the nose of Mark Whitley. Although the aerodynamics here is such a short track and it's such a flat track, not the biggest of factors today, Brad.
We got Brantley Road in the chat. That was actually something I was paying attention to. We're trying to focus on the hood of this 77 for Windy Angel. It says forever in our hearts there. So look to the inside. You're going to get a really good shot out of it here going into turn 1.
Beautiful remembrance there on the hood of Mark Whitley's machine. See if he can put that machine in victory lane today. So he gets the nose to the inside of Levi McCarty, working down into turn 3. Has to let off just a touch to make sure he doesn't get into the left rear and send the 51 around. I bet you between these two, there will certainly be some beating and banging on the door once we get closer to the end of this race. Smith and Taylor still side by side for that third position. And behind them, Wesley Burke is caught up to Jamie Barkus. He's working the inside line now in the 0-4.
87 able to clear, 04 was not. But the battle between the 14 and the 87, I think, allowed the 15 and 04 to get caught back up to them. Watching Eddie Smith. Watch the apron line here. Very few drivers can do that, and let alone in the truck. I've seen it in the next gen. I've seen it in the Gen 4 stock car, but I've never seen anyone successfully do it in the trucks as we watch another pass for the lead.
And not to mention the hot track temperature. It's already jumped up another 3 degrees. Just from a couple laps ago, it was 119. Now it's at 122. So it has to be a little bit of strategy at play as these cars not taking that apron line. That will be a slightly cooler surface. Maybe a little bit more grip down there that Wesley Burke is finding versus the rest of the field.
77 of Whitley leaving very little room there for McCarty down the front stretch, but he will take the lead on lap number 12 officially. 51 used up the right rear, it looks like.
How will the 51 respond here as he is now stuck in the dirty air that was just being put on the nose of the 77? Wesley Burke trying to get around on the inside down to the apron, trying to get the drive off of turn 4.
He'll get it.
Barkus gets a little loose, touches the wall with the right rear, but it's not enough to let the 04 get the nose ahead.
I thought he was going to get it there. Barkus just brushed the wall. I thought that would break the momentum. Going to try the apron again in 1 and 2. Better advantage here down the backstretch. Going to have to send into 3 door to door for the top 5.
This is what you want to see in that rearview mirror. If you're Eddie Smith or Chance Taylor, the battle behind, it's going to force these two drivers to use up a little bit more tire than they have to.
Somebody else liking it too.
Might subside the challenge later on in the race. Jake Ellingson looking to catch up with this group ahead. And then as the 77 and 51 start to really put some distance down between these drivers, that's more people that are benefiting from this battle.
Another driver that we're kind of sleeping on here, Logan. I know we didn't make any pre-race picks or talk about who our standout driver was, but in my opinion, we're sleeping on Jonathan Cofield. He's proven that he can get around this track as well. And he's one of those drivers that will relax everybody and think he's not a factor until we get around 20 to go, and then suddenly he's running top 3.
Yeah, the 58 always has that potential. Started out there in the 9th position, so right inside the top 10. Hasn't made much of an effort to move up, but you have to think he's saving those tires right now for the long run. Again, 75 laps of fuel here potentially. If we take it all the way to that point, I don't know if the tires will be able to survive that long, but if there's one driver that's thinking that it might, it would very well be the 58 at Cofield.
Ride the tire tracks, not push this truck.
And for the most part with that, the field single filed out, except for that battle for the top 5 as Burke again challenging Barkus here. To the inside goes the 04. Still down on the apron. A little bit of a slide up the track coming off of that apron. There's not much of a pitch difference there, a banking difference from the apron to the racing surface, but there is just enough. It can upset that left side suspension of these trucks. He's going to continue to run it down there. He's now clear, and Barkus gets loose off of turn 2. That's going to open up the door for Ellingson to work around the outside.
I said, watch these guys battle side by side, lap after lap. 04 is going to go after the 14 and Chance Taylor now. He's already said, okay, I got one now. Why not another? Top 5's not enough for the 04.
It never is whenever you're so close to the playoffs. All of these extra points matter as you get down to that championship race. Ellingson finally gets clear of the 15. Up to P6 now for the 27. Burke has gained 3 positions since the start of this race. A little bit further back in the field, James Kaufman and Thaddeus Creel Jr. settled out. Some movement here for the 18th position. Looked like some contact there from the 02 to the back of the 17, Lucas Lyons.
Lyons a little rusty, I would say. It's been a while since I've seen him on any racetrack in any series, let alone here in the truck series. And this is not a racetrack, in my opinion, that you come back to. This one will punish you. If you're not warmed up, if you don't know what's going on, with the updates on iRacing Logan, we saw that a lot. I would venture to say that the 17's probably got his work cut out for him right now.
You'd have to think, too, the 17 would be the most willing in the field to make some wild strategy call here to try to come away with a win, throwing all the chips on the table. Doesn't benefit from a win except for the bragging rights, but sometimes that's enough for some of these drivers here. The post-race shenanigans always seem to be quite fun.
Daniel Joseph getting challenged by Ken Huber for the 9th position. Chance Taylor and Wesley Burke went back and forth again. That side-by-side will continue. And Eddie Smith running in 3rd. He might get a 2-for-1 special here. Burke looking to the inside. Both of them loose.
The apron line prevails. Is Wesley Burke a 2-for-1 down through turns 1 and 2 up to P3. Eddie Smith, Chance Taylor struggling right now as the tires start to degrade. Only 22 laps into this one, you have to wonder if they've pushed it just a little bit too hard as they battled side by side for a while.
Burke is looking back to the inside here in the 14. Jacob Ellingson showing some speed. I think he could probably get around these 2 trucks if he times it right. They're going to start racing side by side again into the entry of 3 and 4. I think Smith has the speed, but he had to use too much of his truck to get around the 14. And it's right back to it.
It's that outside line that gets the speed down the front straight, chops the nose of the 14 coming into turn 1.
Oh, he didn't like that.
A little bit of a nudge there mid-corner. And this battle here just inside the top 5. It's about to get really interesting here as Jamie Barkas is also starting to regain some ground, catching back up to the 27. Of course, teammates between those two. Will they try to work together and maybe move both Taylor and Smith at the same time? Take the camera just a little bit further back to the battle with Joseph and Huber. Huber down on the inside line. Samuel Joseph, the white 65 on the outside. The yellow 40. Trying to make way through the bottom. Doesn't come up very high out of the corner, so he's not going to get the best drive out. But keeps the nose right at the door here down the back straight. For Mike Browning just waiting for an opportunity to get around both of them. The 99 of Wallace, who we haven't talked about just yet. And
Taylor's around.
The 14 backs it into the pit wall. I'm not sure who else would have been collected in that other than maybe Ellingson or Barkas, but it looks like Cofield is going to benefit from this instance. So I'm going to have to say definitely, oh man. The bad luck just gets worse for the 27. Take it back a little bit further there. It actually looks like it was the 27 getting loose on the bottom, gets into the driver's side of the 14. That upsets him, puts him up into the wall, and then that extra nudge from Jamie Barkas is what sends Chance Taylor around and right into the right rear. I don't know if there's extra contact there from Barkas at all to Ellingson, but it looks like the 27 should escape pretty cleanly. The 14, however, that could be a potential race ender. He's going to have a lot of damage to get repaired. And being such a short track, these pace laps are going to go by quickly.
I believe you're going to see everybody come down pit road now. You've learned some things. Tire management. 4 tires now. You can set your run up. Don't be surprised if we see somebody take another stab at the lead here. McCarty showed that he had the pace at the short run, but about 12 laps in. And he was riding the 77 into his pit box. Oh, and he missed his own.
A repeat of Wednesday night. McCarty missed his pit stall twice in the next gen series. 2-tire call for Wesley Burke. He'll come out in the race lead. And Josef also taking a 2-tire stop, it looks like. So he's going to come out here on the outside, rather outside or inside, whatever the opposite call of Wesley Burke will be. So two tire stops here on the front row. Actually, it looks like Whitley might have gotten the nose across the line just ahead of Samuel Josef now.
Get back on the replay here. See if we can look. It'll be close.
In the meantime, it looks like the 51 will fall back to the 7th position from 2nd place coming in to 7th.
Yeah, it's the green cone that actually we're counting. A lot of people pay attention to that yellow line, but it's the green cone. So Whitley did beat Josef. Eddie Smith actually. Let's go back to the live shot. I'm going to start here in the 3rd position. So actually, I think he scored his 4th. That's how you pass here, Logan. You get him on pit road. Track position is king.
Interestingly enough, speaking of track position, the 04 of Burke will elect to take the outside line. It's an interesting call to make when you've been running the apron the entire race, but the pace truck will come off into the extreme scoring restart zone. We go for restart number 1. And it's a big jump for the 04, even with the 2-tire call. He'll get well clear of the 77, but holds it up in the middle of 1 and 2. Gets loose right in front of the 77. Collects it back up. Mark Whitley will have an opportunity to challenge down into turn 3. Will he wait it out until the 04 inevitably burns up the left side tires here? Nearly 3 wide behind.
It is 3 wide here into 3 and 4. 51 gets a little loose down there. And we're looking 3 wide for the lead. Burke and Smith.
Whitley gets clear of all the action here. The 87 will try to hold on to the inside line. Yeah, big drift there from Eddie Smith. Doesn't get the position, but holds on to P3. Great save for the Tide Machine. Still battling it out behind him with Cofield, Barkas, Josef, McCarty, and Huber. McCarty side by side with the 65 on the inside line. Nearly gets a dive all the way to the inside of Jamie Barkas for a top 5.
And how many spots did he lose by just missing his stall by about 4 feet?
He lost 5 spots. He came into the pits in P2, came out of the pits in P7. So he's got a lot of driving to do here to recollect those positions. As Barkas pinches him down low, doesn't allow McCarty to get the drive off of turn 4. McCarty shoving that 15 all the way to the outside on the entry of turn 1. He should get clear here as long as he gets a good exit out of turn 2. Does exactly that. Already back up to the top 5. Now he just has Cofield, Smith, and Burke to work around before he can re-challenge for that race lead. Almost 3 wide back at the back of the field. Jacob Ellingson ended up losing a lot of positions there, a little bit more damage than I was expecting on the 27. Falls all the way back to the 21st spot. Chance Taylor back to 22nd, and still both of those drivers even 1 lap down because of that incident. The 37 Michael Seymour trying to work around the outside of Michael Jones. Jones in that Mobil 1 Toyota Tundra. It's Ellingson here working around Lucas Lyons through the inside, but again, scored his 1 lap down. He'll be 12th in line here on the track, 13th in line rather on the track. He's going to have to hope for another caution here today. Receive that lucky dog as long as he doesn't get wrapped up in it again.
Dave Smith giving a little push here to the 04 Bird for the 2nd spot. They watch Whitley drive out about a full second ahead of them. See Eddie Smith probably getting a little impatient with the 04. The season 51 coming.
Yeah, the two-tire call is starting to hold up the whole line here. Smith again drifting out of turn 4, collects it back up. That allows Burt to get clean, clear, and free. The 51 of McCarty dives it down to the inside. Smith lets him go by and says, if you can challenge that better than I can, go for it. Might be able to get both of those drivers around here. See by McCarty gets side by side with Wesley Burke and gets him out of the groove that he's been in.
Well, I think to get him out of the groove, he's going to have to get lower on the racetrack than maybe he's comfortable with running. 04 is the only truck I'm seeing consistently take the apron. Occasionally you have somebody that tries it. There's a battle for 14th with Lucas Lyons, Thaddeus Friel to the inside. But I'm yet to see anybody outside of the 04 take it down below that white and blue line.
It's one of those lines that you just don't see utilized in the trucks. Like you mentioned earlier, it's very common to see in the next-gen cars and even sometimes in the O'Reilly Series cars, but in the trucks, it's nearly unheard of. Wesley Burke has found something out here that the rest of the field has yet to even attempt, except for maybe 1 or 2 other drivers out here. It's paying off for the 04. See if it'll have that long run pace that we could potentially see as we're already coming across the start lap 40 very shortly.
He's still about 2-3 tenths off. That time by is a full 10. I think that's the 2 tires.
Well, we've got a little break in the action. We say thanks to one of our fantastic sponsors here of Goat Locker Racing, Cruisin' Classics. Located in Columbus, Ohio, Cruisin' Classics has a beautiful 56,000 square foot showroom filled with hundreds of unique automobiles. There's something for everybody out of their hand-picked selection of muscle cars and hot rods. Come on down and visit the facility today and check out their website at cruisingclassicsinc.com. Still some 2x2 action here. Middle of the pack. See Lucas Lyons, Brandon Wallace, James Kaufman, Michael Seymour from 15th to 18th there. Kaufman finally gets out ahead of Lyons. Wallace starting to get a little bit of an advantage over Michael Seymour, but does not cross up into the top lane coming out of turn 4. It allows the 37 to get the nose to the right rear, but now clear in 1 and 2. Should single file out coming out of turn 2. Lucas Lyons gets a little bit loose on corner exits, so that keeps the 99 down low. He'll challenge to the inside. And he gets clear of the 17 through 3 and 4.
Lyons just losing spots left and right. Now challenged by the 37 of Seymour. Again, this is a racetrack. Like I mentioned, if you're rusty, if you haven't raced in a while, this is probably not the one to come back to.
Lyons also on that 2-tire strategy.
Oh, he's loose.
Big time loose and a great save for Lucas Lyons. One of our few drivers out here in the Ram today, along with Mike Browning and James Goshen. A little bit further up in the field, Jason Kristen also in the Ram. But Interestingly enough, Bradley, the 99 of Wallace, I'm seeing a 4.3 second stop in the box, indicating that is a fuel-only stop for the 99.
Yeah, he came back in. So if you look at the stint, he's got one lap on the stint to the rest of this field. So he came in and topped off again. Maybe playing a little fuel strategy.
And with that caution and, you know, our data showing 75 laps roughly on a fuel cell, being at lap 26, 27 there on the stop, these drivers should be able to take it all the way to the checkered. As long as we don't see that yellow flag wave again here today. Very spread out through the field now. A little bit of a gap between every single driver. Wesley Burke still holding on to P2 over Levi McCarty. As they're starting to work around some of this lap traffic. That's the 20 of Jason Kristen, keeping it high up on the surface, out of the way of these drivers. Eddie Smith again loose out of turn 2. You have to wonder how that right rear tire's doing.
Cofield just slapped the wall there coming out of turn 2, but still gaining time on these guys in front.
I mentioned it earlier, Cofield always has that sneaky speed late in a race, starting to apply some of that pressure here right at the midway point, up into the top 5, 4 positions gained for the 58. Ken Huber currently the biggest mover in the field. The 40 machine up 8 spots to P6, right behind Cofield.
This time, my fastest truck on the racetrack was your leader with a 31.905. It's actually Burke who ran a 31.831, so going by this time around. Throw that out the window. Burke gains a little bit.
Despite the 2-tire call and the late drop, or the early drop that we saw for the 04, that apron line that he continues to run, it's going to give him an opportunity here to maybe come away with a race win. It's Cofield now working on the inside of Eddie Smith. Coming out of turn 4, side by side. Smith will get the better drive off of the corner, but now the 58 machine really starting to put some pressure on that Tide truck. Trying to make some moves and be a little bit more competitive up here at the top of the field. Backs it off just a touch, will fall back in line behind Eddie Smith. Smith
Whitley,
again loose.
I was going to say Whitley at will is just pulling a 10th off here or there. We saw the lead shrink a little bit. It got down below 2 seconds, and then Whitley said, okay, I'm going to put it back over that. And then he did 2/10 on top of it.
Whitley is really good about managing the tires and managing that gap.
Too.
It is all the way down on the bottom, all the way through the corner even. Entered low. We'll see how he attacks turn 1 here. Going to enter low again. Puts the left side tires on that blue line. Creeps it up to that second lane. Slows it back down and back almost through that pit exit cone. Whitley seeing the advantage here of using that apron line. Again, entering very low into turn 3 on the apron even. Drops it back down after about 50 to 100 feet through the corner. The 77 picking up another 2/10 here over Wesley Burke.
Yeah, he figured it out. I don't think he expected it to be as fast as it was. And if you're Wesley Burke, you might have showed your hand too early. 2 tires, now you're pretty much stuck with it unless we get a caution. He showed his line was faster, and Whitley adapted to it.
That's what you come to expect out of the 77 throughout the season. Always willing to adapt and, you know, maybe a little uncomfortable at first. Once you start to utilize that and learn it a little bit better lap after lap, it proved to be very, very quick here. So he's showing today nearly 3 seconds over second place, which is also 3 seconds over third place, which is shocking to see Levi McCarty might need to take a tip out of the hat of Mark Whitley and start to utilize that apron line a little bit more. Cofield, though, attacking on the inside, will shut that door if it was even open for the 51. See if Cofield can work around through the inside and take up a podium spot for the time being. Side by side through 1 and 2, keeps the 51 high up on the track, out of the groove even. McCarty gets a little loose off of turn 2, keeps the hammer down. Drag race down the back straight into turn 3, enters very high here, way out of the groove goes McCarty. I think Cofield should have this one clear here. He does. A little scrape to the wall, but it's not enough to slow him down.
Now 27 laps on this stint. This was about the window that we had that caution come out. The issue there with the 27, the 14, Chance Taylor, those drivers still pinned a lap down, but the driver ahead that would get the free pass is Jake Ellingson, if it comes to that. Running in 20th position. Closest battle on the racetrack is looking 3 wide almost. Joseph, Friel, and you've got Brandon Wallace on the inside, trying the apron.
Curious here, Bradley. We've deemed him the impersonator rather than the intimidator. We have a driver cam for Thaddeus Friel Jr. this week.
It's up there, but it's not working. For whatever reason, I do not have Thaddeus Friel. Now, I have him in the camera link, but I think he forgot to turn the camera back on.
Maybe he shaved the mustache.
Here, let's see if we can get it like this.
No, I think the helmet there would hide it a little bit. It's not the open face like we used to have.
We need an open face helmet. I would pay an extra $4 on iRacing if they did that.
I think a lot of people probably would.
Yeah. But the 87s, why are we not racing open face? Come on.
The 9 of Wallace gets loose out of turn 2. Just behind him, Samuel Joseph in the 65 ends up scraping the wall coming out of turn 2. Both attacking here to the inside of Tyler Justice. Justice now losing some ground as Wallace loses connection, but luckily doesn't move up the track. 99 finding some speed here.
Everybody else is getting a little bit faster. Ken Huber starting to creep his way towards the top 5. He's picked up probably half a second on Eddie Smith. Smith just brushed a wall coming out of 4. But I would expect to see Ken Huber making a pass for 5th position within the next 3 or 4 laps.
The 40 is almost reminiscent of Jonathan Cofield's ability to put down some sneaky speed here. He's inched closer and closer up to this top 5. He can keep the pace that he's been on. There's a high possibility here that Huber might come away with a top 3 depending on the tire situation for Burke. It'll be very hard to get around Levi McCarty, but it's been proven to be doable. It's just going to take the right opportunity here for the 40 of Huber. Looking very smooth out there through 1 and 2, not dropping it down all the way to the bottom. Seeing about a half lane up from that bottom line.
I don't know if you're reading chat or not. I'm just going to put him on the screen. I'm just going to put him on the screen. That's what they asked for.
It is what the people want, Bradley. I would wholeheartedly agree with you there. 99 is terrible, but not doing so bad today. Running P11.
He's catching up to James Goshen, too.
He's telling you, the Wallace machine, he can find some speed when he needs it.
Half a second faster than 9th place, or 10th place, rather.
He's having to wheel that truck, though. A lot of counter steer through 1 and 2.
Yeah, with 40 to go, that's a lot more wheel than I'd be wanting to put into it, but it seems to be working for him right now.
Oh, there's a lot of wheel there. Wallace getting very loose, the rear end sliding out, but doing a great job of driving it through and out of the corner here. The 85 high up on the track. off of that freshly paved surface, so there's a lot less grip once you get off of that surface there, Bradley. It's very interesting to have one side of the truck on it, one side of the truck not.
What a send.
Deep down into turn 3, the 99 trying to make the pass complete, slides it out of turn 4, nearly gets collected. He's trying to get around that ram.
It almost worked.
Just about a little less throttle input there on the corner exit. He might
Not
have had
a
that.
slide job. The definition, you're not supposed to slide that much. So try it again.
He's going to continue to send it down to the bottom. He's taking the note out of the Burke book. Doesn't get clear this time. He's going to get pinched, in fact, coming off of the corner. So that kills the drive off for Brandon Wallace. Goshen doing a great job of playing defense here, although heavily under attack. It looks like Thaddeus Friel Jr. starting to gain some ground on both of them as this battle goes back and forth here. I think if Wallace could get a better drive out of turn 2 and continue down into that line without sliding too much on corner exit 4, he might be in a great position to complete that pass, at least get the bumper clear and just force his way up to the top line. Back on board up front with Eddie Smith looking off the rear bumper. Ken Huber starting to attack to the inside line down into turn 3. Leaves the 87 high and dry here. The 40 will enter low, come out middle lane here just ahead of the 87. Further back, it's Kostick and Barkas for the 8th position.
Kostick also showing speed late in the run. Brandon Wallace able to pass James Goshen for the top 10. We can dial that back up on the replay. I know that's what the people
Finally
want.
clear. Kept it down low through 1 and 2. Got well clear. A little bit of a better drive off for Goshen. Once you're a half a car length ahead, it's very hard to re-challenge for that position. And now about 6 or 7 car lengths clear. We've got another brief moment. Yeah, take that back. Goshen just got loose off of turn 2. I thought Friel was going to have a drive around the outside, but instead he's going to cut it down to the bottom here. Not quite to the apron, but will the 98 get clear? Coming out of turn 4, starts to slide it up. And there goes Friel. A challenge back to the inside for Goshen contact.
I don't think he's going to like that. Would not be surprised if Thaddeus Friel sends it into the next corner.
Expect to see that bumper touched here once he gets close enough for it. Goshen still high up on the track through 3 and 4. You can see just a little bit of that grip starting to get lost there on the left rear. A little bit of a send to the inside. Not quite coming out side by side, but here's where I would make my move. Either give him an extra little push into turn 3, or dive it down to the apron, try to stick it down there. The 98 gets clear again through 3 and 4. The crossover coming from the 85. Will there be more contact made here?
Tough racing for the top 10 right now. Yeah. I think the door touch. Another door touch. I'm Friel. I'm cutting this lane off. Yep. That's New Hampshire. It's a short track, but it's bigger than that. The mentality. Now you have to race it.
Well, Bradley, now that we have a second of some calm air here, let's say thank you to another one of our sponsors here of Goat Locker Racing, GTR Simulators. GTR Simulator, a leader in professional grade racing and flight simulators, delivers immersive real-world experiences trusted by racers, pilots, and educators in entertainment venues worldwide. From home setups to commercial and training solutions, GTR Simulators puts you in the driver's seat.
Race recap on the top of your screen. 1 caution, 3 lead changes, and most of that happening within the first 15 laps of this race. Mark Whitley back up to the top spot. He has led 61 laps. It's been another dominant day here for the 77.
I heard a couple of these drivers asking before the race started in the practice session, who put this one on the schedule? Mark Whitley, of course, being the champion here last season,
He
decided it was him. That's the benefit here and proving why he picked this track. As he crosses the start finish line to make it 62 laps in the lead, not looking back. It's all forward out of that windshield here as he's starting to creep up to some lap traffic. That's the 7 of Charles Abert just ahead of him. Michael Seymour, Samuel Joseph, Michael Jones, Tyler Justice not too much further ahead. This is where you find out who can really drive this track, who can navigate this lap traffic in a quick and orderly fashion.
Well, it's 5.5 seconds back to Burke. It's going to take a lot of lap traffic to slow down Whitley's progression. I think you might see that lead shrink down to 4 seconds navigating these trucks.
Sorry about that, Bradley, but Wesley Burke there got extremely loose and actually ended up putting into the wall there out of turn 2. Just a glancing blow there, luckily. Shouldn't be any damage on the front right of that machine, but now it's in the head of the driver that maybe the conditions down there off the apron, transitioning back up to the normal surface here. All that tire degradation starting to come into play.
Looking for battles on this racetrack. 12th position, 11th spot actually. So the 85 of James Goshen going to lose a spot. There's Kaufman looking for the position. Into the wall for the 85. 25 going to have the advantage going into 3. Unclear. Brandon Wallace is caught up to Michael Kostick. So 99. I'm sorry, chat, but I got to disagree. He's looking pretty fast.
The people want to believe the 99 is terrible. I think even the 99 wants to believe he's terrible sometimes, but then you get races like this where he proves the ability that he has. A fantastic drive so far. Only started P11, so only 2 positions gained so far, but showing a lot of late run speed here. He has just over 20 laps to go to gain even a couple more. He's about a half a second behind Kostick right now, who's a second and a half behind Mike Browning. I don't know if there will be enough time left to catch up to Eddie Smith for P6, but if mistakes get made as the top 5 starts to navigate that lap traffic, it's a whole new ballgame.
Plot twist, Patrick Drabick's driving that truck. I'm just going to throw it out there, just to start the rumor.
It's just now hit me that we don't have the 07 machine out here today.
Yeah, well, coincidence?
It only took me 80% of the race to figure that one out, but
I love rumors.
77, Mark Whitley starting to work around more of this lap traffic. That's the 85 of James Goshen, now catching up to the 25 of James Kaufman. He's gotten up to the 12th and 11th spot here, putting more than half the field a lap down. See just how far the 77 can push it up through the field.
He has the chance to put at least 4 more drivers a lap down. Looking at the math here. We'll put the 25 of Kaufman down a lap. It'll be Thaddeus Real next. But then it's a pretty big gap. About 3 seconds up here to Brandon Wallace. That's where things get a little bit fuzzy. I don't know how much time he's making up compared to these drivers. Looks like Brandon Wallace was actually a little bit faster. Granted, the 77 was passing. It's a pretty big gap, though.
I want to say it's roughly a 10th and a half right now of gain through the field. Now, again, making these passes on the traffic, it's not going to help the case of the 77, but this time by a 32.2. The next closest time in the field is a 33.3. That was Ken Huber in the 40 running P5.
Huber is actually gaining on Levon McCarty. It's 2 seconds back. We'll go back here to the 5th position. But Levon McCarty should speed early in this run. You've also got the 27 of Jake Ellingson in between these drivers. It's a pretty big gap. I don't think that Huber can make up to McCarty before the end of this race. If you look at the interval, that's a solid 1.9 seconds. Math-wise, that's going to be close. That time will be 100 faster.
And it all just takes one mistake from either one of these drivers to make or break that decision here. Oh, as Jake Ellingson gets extremely loose ahead of Ken Huber. Ends up in the outside wall, but keeps it going. A little bit of damage there on the front right corner. These tires now have double the length of the first stint that we had. This driver's doing a great job of managing that. So the track temperature has come down 1 degree back to 121 on the track surface, up a degree on the ambient temperature. But all eyes are on the 77 as we are 15 laps to go. The Magic Mile, the Lobster Mile, whatever you want to call this track, New Hampshire Motor Speedway. It's been a good one so far. 7.5 seconds of advantage for Whitley over Wesley Burke. I'm still in utter shock that the 2-tire call has managed to work so well for the 04.
Yeah, it's worked well, but I think with the line he was running, track position got him up there. You know, that 2-tire call, but now he's starting to suffer a little bit. We saw him brush the wall a moment ago. I think 4 tires, he might have stood a better chance to catch up or at least keep pace with Whitley to where when we started navigating this lap traffic, he could have been a factor. But now you're looking at the fall off. It's every other lap they'll trade back and forth, but ultimately Whitley gets the bigger advantage on the laps that he's passing this traffic a little bit cleaner.
Been seeing the 04 too getting loose off of turn 2 for a couple laps in a row here. That again, the transition back up the racing surface, there's not really any difference in degree of banking, but there's just enough there. Once that left side gets back up onto the surface, kind of unsettles the car a little bit. Of course, the left side tires being the much older tires here. It'd be interesting to find out what kind of a percentage we're working with this late in the run. So 65 will allow the 04 to have a clean lane through the bottom.
Oh, I bet these things are roasted off at this point. When you're driving it that low and using that much brake to keep the truck down on the racetrack, I'd say by lap 100, these guys are probably going to be down in the single digits on some of the tires.
You have to imagine so, at least. And you know, the outside tires, of course, being such a flat track, taking the brunt of it, but using that inside line, like you said, and the heavy braking just to keep the truck down there. Ooh, as the 15 Nearly
He's
into
aggressive.
the back of Michael Jones. An aggressive dive down into turn one.
He's going to get it.
Aggressive exit as well. Shooting right through the inside. Marcus now...
lap down, I believe.
Both of these drivers a lap down. Mark Whitley is lapped up to the top 10 now. Thaddeus Friel Jr., the first driver, 1 lap down. Mike Browning in P9. He's nearly at risk. There's a little bit of a drive still yet for Whitley to catch up, but not much. I would say there's a good possibility of seeing that 77 getting around Mike Browning, and I think it's a little bit too far to see Brandon Wallace go a lap down. I would assume that we're going to see just the top 8 finish this race in the lead lap today.
So through your field with the top 10, Mark Whitley leading this race. Of course, everybody knows that at this point. Wesley Burke in second position. Jonathan Cofield about 6 seconds back from the 04. Then you have Levi McCarty, who was the only other leader of this race outright. 51 was able to make a pass there very, very early in this race. Then you have Ken Huber, who's catching up to the 51 a little bit at a time. Watching a few hundredths here, a few hundredths there. The 40 car definitely has an opportunity to get in 4th position, but probably not a podium. There's Eddie Smith, good to see him back out on the racetrack, running in 6th spot. He was in the top 3 to start this race off. Then you have Michael Kostick in 7th spot in the 3. Brandon Wallace, the last truck on the lead lap. But he has the 77 of Whitley. You said he wouldn't get there. I think he's there.
You know, it wasn't so much I was saying he wouldn't. I just said it was unlikely, but he's making me eat my hat here. He's going to work around the inside. Wallace still high up on the track, and of course the 77 utilizing all of that apron comes out side by side down the front straight. Now the question is, will he be able to catch up to Michael Kostick? So he's well clear of the 99 now. It's about the same distance back as he was when he started to challenge up to the 8th spot.
Based off lap times, I think he'll be there in the next 2 laps. He's
Still
about
running
half a second faster.
32.2s right now for the 77.
Mike Browning at 9th position. Thaddeus Friel has taken a command on the top 10 by about 7/10 of a second over James Kaufman. Yeah, 5 to go. Whitley, this is his race to lose. I mean, another clinic here for the 77. Look at what, 7 wins now?
I believe that is the count, either 6 or 7. I don't have that stat sheet up right now, but we always check back here before we get to our interviews. As we come to 4 to go, another big shout out to another one of our fantastic sponsors here, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs. Appreciate everything that they do for the veterans of Indiana. And of course, being a huge part here of Goat Locker Racing. As Whitley does get around Michael Kostick. I think that will finally be it, Bradley. We should finish with the top 6 on the lead lap. It's about a 3.5 second drive up to Eddie Smith. So I think I can say that with confidence now. 3 to go at the line, this time by. If we can hold on to it here for the 77, a little wiggle coming out of turn 2. The throttle modulation has been on point for Mark Whitley all night long. He's been one of the few that I've seen that, haven't, oh goodness gracious. I'm going to stop my my statement right there. I'm not even going to finish that. 2 to go at the line, side by side a little bit further back. It's a 15 of Barkas, the 65 of Yosef. 1 lap down, but it is a battle for position. Whitley comes out of turn 4. The white flag waves and is presented by Glove Station. Quality gloves and protective gear to get you across the finish line. 1 to go at New Hampshire. The yellow flag will stay in its holster no matter what happens. 11 seconds ahead of Wesley Burke. 18 seconds, 19 seconds ahead of Jonathan Cofield. 2 more corners, and it's another race win late in the season. Nobody else will have an opportunity tonight to claim a playoff spot. Your race winner, Mark Whitley, with 89 laps led.
"89 laps. 89% of this race was the 77.
It's just a ultimate drive. And what a better way to do it. You know, just you've got the remembrance there on the hood of that machine. It's just the ultimate honor, in my opinion, Bradley. As Whitley brings it back to the front straight, he'll get his celebration in here. "89 laps led." That is an outstanding number for any track. And now we know exactly why the previous champion wanted this one on the schedule. A dominant performance from the 77. What do you say we send it to a quick commercial break? We'll get set up for our post-race show and, of course, interviews with our top 3. We'll be right back, everybody. Stick around.
Superior quality, ultimate protection, and the highest level of craftsmanship. We make our gloves for the hard worker that wakes up every morning and gives 110%. You deserve the highest quality protective gear that's going to work for you, day in, day out. We know it can be tough deciding what companies to trust for your hard-earned money. It's all in our name. We've mastered our craft to help you master yours. We make our gloves rugged, durable, and designed for you. Whatever the job is, we have you covered. We are your Glove Station.
A thriving job market and low cost of living, plus a wide range of veteran benefits, make Indiana the perfect place for veterans of the United States military to call home. InVets can help you find that home. We're an organization started by veterans to help former service members transition to civilian life in our state. InVets can help you find the community with the career opportunities, housing, schools, and amenities that fit your lifestyle. To learn more about InVets, visit us at invets.org today.
We are back live in virtual New Hampshire after another dominant performance from the 77. But before we get to our interviews, let's have a look and find out where your favorite driver finished tonight's race. Of course, we saw it live. We've talked about it multiple times already. Race win number 5 on the season. Mark Whitley, victorious here today. Wesley Burke with a 2-tire call manages to take those inside tires 100 laps around the flat surface here and comes away P2 about 9.5 seconds ahead of Jonathan Cofield, rounding out our podium finishers. The 51 of Levi McCarty showed some strong early run, but falls back to a P4 finishing spot after leading a couple laps himself. Ken Huber with some late run speed gets around Eddie Smith, taking up a top 5 spot for the 40 team. The 87 of Smith will round out here in P6. Michael Kostick in the 3, the biggest mover of the race, 9 positions gained from 16th to 7th. The 99 of Brandon Wallace, not so terrible today, with an 8th place finish ahead of Mike Browning in the 4, taking home P9, and rounding out the top 10, the 98. The impersonator, that is Friel Jr.
11th spot's going to go to James Kaufman, one of the esports drivers for Juicy Spider Studios. We have Jamie Barkas in 15th in the 15 car and 12th. Samuel Joseph will finish 13th with Tyler Justice just behind that in 14th. Michael Seymour, quiet day. Seymour started in 22nd, will gain about, well, say 7 spots in. Quick math. V-speed. Yeah, we do math. Charles Ebert will finish in 16th with James Goshen, falling all the way back to 17th. 85 struggled there at the end. You have Jake Ellingson, who got pinned a lap down after that incident. The only caution here today with Michael Jones just behind that. Chance Taylor in the 14, also involved in that caution, rounding out your top 10. And then you have Chuck Phelps, Jason Kristen, Lucas Lyons, and Jason Farrow electing not to take the grid here this evening.
Well, Bradley, what do you say we get right to it with our first place finisher, our 5-time winner, Mark Whitley, joining us up here in the V-Speed booth. Let's get him up here. Mark Whitley, 5 wins on the season, and looking back at the stats, you've been on the podium more times than you haven't so far. The only other time here, Daytona, the season opener, and you came home P2, but of course today, victorious here. How does it feel, first of all, knowing that you put on such a dominant performance here at New Hampshire?
It feels pretty good. I always really love coming to this track. I was telling those guys in the waiting room, like, this is easily my favorite racetrack that we go to, oval, any kind. It's just something about it. I just love running it. There's so many different grooves you could run. I know in practice, I was kind of dejected a little bit that I felt like the apron really wasn't there. I feel like one of the updates they've done recently, just the apron that, wasn't quite like it was, maybe last year or so. But then we had that caution, and Wesley took 2, and I thought that was kind of interesting. And then, I got around him and pulled away a little bit, but then me and him both were kind of pulling away from the whole pack. And I was like, that's pretty interesting. 2 worked a lot better than I thought it would. And then I had Brantley over my ear being like, I think he's running the apron a little bit. And I was like, say less, and I went straight to the apron because I'm like, if that apron's there, I'm gonna run it because it's just so much more fun to run. Like, there's so much grip down there. It's just fun to run that apron.
We saw you adapt that line, and I know it's always good to have a guy in your ear up on the box, always talking to you. But Mark, you also have to factor in there's a lot changed in this race throughout. You had that caution there early, and you had a battle with the 51 of McCarty. How do you pace yourself through all of this? There's just different disciplines, different repetitions all the way through.
Yeah, you just got to stay patient. I know I got a little impatient there, and I tried to throw the slider, and I threw it into turn 1 up under him. I was like, there's no way he's going to, I figured he'd try to do a cross under, and he kind of stayed with me and I about cleared us both out. So I need to apologize for that one, because I just went in there fully committing to the slide job, thinking he was just going to cross me back under and we could maybe drag race down the back. And he just kind of stayed more with me than I thought, and about took us both out. And thankfully, he gave me a little room and we both on the track. So I know he probably wasn't happy about it, but I wasn't expecting him to stay on the right rear like that. So I mean, that was on me. The rest of the race, like you said, it's just about patience. We got the caution. It was right on the edge of the fuel limit. I think I wound up being like a lap to the good. So you couldn't overdrive the truck to, kill the tires. Fuel, I ain't gonna say it was an issue, but it was like in the back of your mind, just being like, all right, you just gotta play. You got like a lap and a half extra. You can't run it too hard and use up your extra. But it's just, changes every 5 laps. It felt like, especially coming through lap traffic. You just got to be patient and thankfully, I think me and Wesley were the only two guys trying to run the apron. So, when that came up on a lap car or something, it was just, I just went down there and they stayed way up high and we didn't have to worry about each other. So, kind of worked out in the end.
Mark Whitley, the reigning champion here, 5th win on the season, as previously mentioned. I assume you probably have a special message after seeing the decal on the hood of that Toyota, but who do you have to say thanks to or shout out for your victory here at New Hampshire?
Yeah, a big shout out. Like I said, my teammate over there, Christian, his mom passed away this week, and I know it's been rough on him. I can't imagine what he's going through right now. So we put his Wendy on the hood of our truck. I think everybody Harpoon Design truck this whole week. No matter if it's here officials, we've all been running the decal. So it's one of those things like, we're here for you, brother. Hopefully everything goes good, and if you need anything, everybody can reach out to him. And all the league sponsors here, got to thank them for giving us a platform to be here. Without them, the league wouldn't be here, and without the league being here, I wouldn't be here. So it's just one of those things. Lincoln Tech, SAVE22, Alexander PCs, MK Fire Designs, just everybody that helps put on this league, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, NVETS, ATYL, all of them guys. Without them, we wouldn't be here. Like I said, shout out to Harpoon Design Brantley. He's my spotter, and he also does all my awesome paint jobs, and including making this awesome decal in tribute to teammate's mom. Check him out at harpoondesign.com. And I guess finally, Jawa.gg. If you're looking for a new PC or just an upgrade, they're the #1 gaming marketplace out there. They got hot deals. I think the other day they had some deals on some RAM, even though all the craziness going on with that. So if you need anything, check them out. And I guess final shout out to you guys putting on a great broadcast. It's always fun to go back and watch and see how the race played out from other points of view.
I'm sure you'll enjoy watching back on this one. 89 laps led. Congratulations again, Mark Whitley, and huge momentum in your corner as we've just got one more race until we start the playoffs.
Thanks, guys. Appreciate it.
Riley, that's going to lead us right down to our second place finisher, Wesley Burke, joining us up here in the V-Speed booth now. Wesley Burke, congratulations on P2. First of all, you got a couple laps led, so there's a bonus point in your category. But I'm more interested in that 2-tire call that you made on the one and only caution that we had. What was the thoughts going through your head at that moment? And once we got further through the race, seeing that yellow flag was not coming back out.
Yeah, the 2-tire call was because I was a little bit tight and I just needed that little bit of freeness in the car. So it's about all that was. I figured if it went long run, it would help me turn better. And if it was a bunch of short runs, then the tires would even out eventually. So I didn't really think anything of it. My lefts were, I think, 96 on the left front and 95 on the right rear. So they didn't wear at all. And then, yeah, once I realized there was no catching Whitley, just backed it down just a little bit. I was still pulling away from the cars behind. And so there's no point in over pushing and slapping the wall on exit or anything.
You got that track position, a lot of positions gained there on pit road, so the 2-tire calls seem to be beneficial in that aspect. But do you think, had you taken 4, could you have ran that apron and got up to here and maybe challenged Whitley in the end?
I mean, no, I don't think so. I think the 2-tire call was the best for me, at least. Eventually, later in the run, when I was having to get by, I think it was Charles Abert and Michael Joe, I had to go all the way to the apron, and it was like, whoa, that felt really good. But it was 25 to go, so it didn't really matter. I just don't even run the right side on the racetrack. Just all 4 tires on the apron. Had so much more grip. Run 4/10 quicker a lap.
Well, congratulations again on P2 and a strategy call that I think I can speak for Bradley and myself, blew both of our minds here today. Worked out great for you. You stayed competitive. Who do you have to say thanks to or shout out for your success here today?
Well, thank you guys up in the booth. Gym Printing and Promotions, SAVE22, V-Speed, and Alexander PCs, Cruising Classics, and GTR Simulators.
Thank you for your time. We'll catch up with you next week for the final regular season race.
So, yeah.
One more to go here, Bradley. Jonathan Cofield now joining us up here in the V-Speed booth. Jonathan, you started ninth. You came up 6 positions. You come away with the podium, and we talked about it a little bit here early on in the race. You're one of those drivers that always provides that kind of sneaky speed here, and it worked out for you well. You're able to make some very clean passes, a little bit of battling here and there. What were your keys to success to coming away with the podium finish tonight?
Yeah, I appreciate it. Just taking care of the truck. Like I was telling the guys, I've ran on VR since 2020 when I started iRacing. I've never really had to race on a monitor. That was my cheapest way to get in iRacing, and it's been giving me a lot of problems here the last 6 months. I bought a new one, still giving me problems, so I decided to throw it down. I'm going monitor, and all I've got is this little, maybe a 32-inch monitor, and I'm trying to learn how to race on it. And I asked Whitley, he said he was shifting every lap, and since I've never raced on a monitor, I don't have a monitor stand, and it's sitting on top of my DD wheel. So every time I shifted, it would shake, and I didn't want to knock it off.
So you were, let me get this straight. You were not shifting or shifting easy because your whole sim could fall apart.
Just my monitor. It's on. Yeah. I got a Fanatec DD 8NM, and it's flat on the top, and it's just nice enough where my monitor sits up there. But if I shake, it might fall over.
I gotta ask you another question. Can we start a fundraiser to get this man some triple screens? Logan, what do you think? I mean,
after the performance tonight, I think that's probably necessary. The ability proved that he had. I was gonna ask, is it just duct tape to the direct drive wheel there?
No, sir. It's just sitting there, and about every 5 or 10 laps, the vibration from the force feedback will start turning the monitor, and about every 10 laps, I got to turn it back straight.
That's immersion. Yeah. That's what that is.
It's just trying to play the role of the VR and give you that extra banking.
Yeah.
Samsung makes a 57-inch ultra wide now, so that's what I'm going for.
All right. Well, I can attest that Samsung makes an excellent product. Not plugged, not paid by Samsung, but I do own one, so I would recommend that.
My washer and dryer is a Samsung. My refrigerator is Samsung. My cell phone's a Samsung. So
why not? Why not?
That's right.
Not sponsored by Samsung, Jonathan. Congratulations on P3. Who do you have to say thanks to your shout out for your podium finish?
You and Bradley for doing the broadcast. Really appreciate it. Just everybody at Nazareth or Goat Locker for what they do. Let me find the sponsor reads.
The monitor fell off. He read the wrong thing. Read from the prompter.
That's what you get for racing 5 days a week.
Yeah.
Racing MK Fire Design, Sim Motion, Harpoon Designs, Zach Graphics, and of course SAVE22 for all they do. Coming on here with Goat Locker, being the main sponsor of our truck series. Really good race tonight. A lot of clean green flag runs. Really love it when that happens. Really get to see who can save the tires and who can't. Lucas 3D Designs, Sim Shop. If you need any Moser, Sim Magic stuff, go check them guys out. Type in Bandits, save you 10%, and all my teammates Bandits.
Well, thank you for your time, Jonathan. We'll catch up with you next week for the final regular season race.
See ya.
And he hit the nail on the head there, Bradley. What a fantastic race we had here today. Of course, just the one caution there early on, right at the 25% mark. I believe it was lap 26 that we saw the field come down, take their strategy calls, and what a wild mix of it that we had today.
Yeah, it was a great race, and I love when these races go long because, like you heard from Jonathan, it shows who can save the tires, who can't. It also kind of changes the strategy where that caution fell. It was in the back of your mind. Whitley mentioned it. You can't push the truck too hard. You've only got 1.5 in the good. So for some of these drivers that were maybe running a little bit higher up the racetrack, they had to conserve, and I think that's why you saw this field spread out. New Hampshire could have been a wreck fest. So this is probably the best race I've seen at New Hampshire in a long time.
A very long time indeed. Hopefully that momentum will continue on into next week as our SAVE22.vet Truck Series drivers take on Old Atlanta, the track I so promptly deem or call it myself the cheese grater just because of how rough this surface is on the tires. Expect to see a lot of tire strategy at play next week there. It's going to be a fun one, but for now, it's time to say goodbye. For everybody behind the scenes at Goat Locker Racing, of course, Patrick Drabick and Jamie Barkus, and everybody behind the scenes at V-Speed, Adam Baker, Morgan Cook, Eddie Smith, and of course, our colleague, co-host, whatever you want to call him, production artist, Bradley Cooper. Just a guy, apparently, with the cameras provided by the very talented Dougie Beard. I've been Logan Threlkeld. It's been a blast talking to you all. We hope to see you next week at Old Atlanta. But for now, have a great weekend, everybody. We'll see you next time.